You ever stop and wonder how your phone unlocks just by looking at it? Or how Google Maps somehow, almost magically, knows the absolute fastest way to get you home, dodging all the traffic? Well, the answer to both is artificial intelligence. And in the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what that means in plain English.
So, let's pull back the curtain on one of the most talked about technologies on the entire planet. We're going to cut through all the jargon, forget the crazy sci-fi movies for a second, because we're about to get to the real, simple truth of what AI is.
And to really get it, we're not going to just throw a definition at you. No, we're going to build it from the ground up, piece by piece. We'll start by looking at the two words themselves, artificial and intelligence. First up, let's just talk about plain old intelligence. I mean, what is it really? Well, at its core, it's just the ability to learn from what happens to us, right? To solve problems we run into, and to make better decisions based on what we've learned.
Think about it like this. A little kid touches something hot, feels that ouch, and learns a super valuable lesson. Okay, don't do that again. That simple act, learning from an experience and then changing what you do next, that right there is intelligence in its purest form.
Okay, now for the easy part. Artificial. This one's a breeze. It just means something made by people, something that doesn't just grow on a tree or pop up out of the ground.
We see this kind of thing all the time. You can have a natural leg, and you can have an artificial or a prosthetic leg. So if you just apply that same idea, if we have natural, human intelligence, well, we can also have artificial intelligence. It's just intelligence that we built.
So let's put it all together now. Artificial intelligence, AI, is simply giving a machine the ability to do stuff that would normally take a human brain to figure out. Things like recognizing a face, understanding what you're saying, or making a decision. That's really it. No killer robots, just smart machines. Okay, so we know what it is. But the big question is, how does it actually work? How does a machine learn to think? Well, the secret isn't magic. It's experience, or what we call data.
Let me give you a great little analogy. Imagine your mom packs you a lunchbox. For a few days, you eat everything. Then one day, you leave the bitter gourd behind. She notices, and what happens next? She stops packing it for you. She learned what you like and don't like just by watching what you did. AI does the exact same thing. It looks for patterns in what happens and learns from them.
And this learning gets better and better over time. Think of a brand new auto rickshaw driver in a huge city. In the first month, they're probably getting lost, taking wrong turns. But 6 months in, they know the shortcuts, they know how to avoid traffic. A couple years later, they're an absolute expert. They've learned from experience. AI is the same, except it can process the experience of millions of drives in a single day to become an expert almost instantly.
To really understand how all the parts work, it helps to think of AI kind of like a person. So first off, an AI needs eyes. We call this computer vision. And it's what lets a machine see and recognize things in pictures, like your face, which is how your phone unlocks.
Next up, it needs ears. Whenever you talk to Siri or your Google Assistant, that's speech recognition doing its thing. It's the part of AI that can actually listen to a human voice and make sense of the words.
Now, for the most important part, the brain. In the AI world, this is called machine learning. This is the core engine. It takes all the info from the eyes and the ears, chews on it, finds patterns, and makes the actual decisions. It's the part that does the thinking. And finally, to talk back to us, AI needs a mouth. This is called natural language processing, or NLP for short. It's how something like ChatGPT can understand what you're asking and then write or speak a pretty coherent answer right back at you. So there you have it, eyes, ears, brain, and mouth all working together.
Okay, this next part is really, really important. We need to draw a clear line between the reality of AI today and the science fiction you see in the movies. What can AI actually do right now, and what's still just Hollywood?
And I think the best way to do that is to put the human brain and AI side by side. Let's see where each one really shines. So just look at this breakdown. You and I, we get tired. An AI can run 24/7 and never needs a coffee break. We forget things. An AI has a perfect photographic memory. But here's the real kicker. We have emotions, we have creativity, we have common sense. AI has absolutely none of that. It's an incredibly powerful tool for very specific tasks. Yeah, it can process a million files in a second, but it doesn't feel or understand the world the way we do. Not even close.
And that brings us to the first level of AI, which is where every single AI on the planet is today.
It's called narrow AI. The best way to think about it is like a specialist doctor. A cardiologist is a genius with hearts, but you wouldn't ask them to fix your broken ankle, right? Every AI you use, from Google Maps to your email spam filter, is a narrow AI. It is an absolute expert at one single thing.
Now, the next step up the ladder is something called general AI, or AGI. This would be a machine that could do any intellectual task a human can. It could reason, it could plan, it could be creative, but let's be crystal clear, this does not exist yet. It's the goal, the holy grail for a lot of researchers, but it's still somewhere off in the future.
And then, way up at the top, you've got super AI. This is straight out of the movies. Think The Terminator, an intelligence that's smarter than all of humanity put together. It's a really fascinating thing to think about in debate, but for right now, it belongs firmly in the world of science fiction.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground. So before we wrap up, let's boil it all down to the absolute core ideas, the key things you should walk away with.
Here are the 5 big ones. First, AI is just human-made intelligence inside a machine. Simple. Second, it learns from data, pretty much the same way we learn from experience. Third, its superpowers are that it never gets tired and never, ever forgets. Fourth, and this is a big one, all AI today is narrow AI, an expert at just one job. And finally, maybe most importantly, AI is a tool. It has no feelings, no emotions, no consciousness.
Look, if you remember only one thing from all of this, let it be this sentence right here. AI is a machine that learns from examples, just like a child. The only differences are, it does it way faster, it never needs a break, and it never, ever forgets.
So I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Now that you understand the reality of AI, that it's really a set of specialized tools, think about your own life. What's one specific, maybe boring or repetitive task that you wish you could just hand over to your own personal narrow AI? The possibilities are a lot more real than you might think.